All right, it's a pretty thin box, which makes me think it's going to be a pretty thin laptop. And holy moly, is it thin. Check this bad boy out. Let's get you a shot here. We'll throw in some nice real shots, but I just want to kind of show you. It's thinner than a very thin thing. I don't know how they make them so thin. Okay, this is an i7, 16 gig, 512 gigabyte, 15.6 inch. It's Wi-Fi 6E. It's a Samsung AMO LED display that I'm sure is going to look glorious because, as you know, they are my favorite screens. It's got, let's take a look, 2 USB-Cs on the side here. It's got a full-size HDMI port, people. No dongles. Just plug in and go. USB-A's on that side, HDMI's on this side. And I got a headphone jack. And I got what looks like a micro SD card reader. So this is a thin, ultra light, oh my word, is it light? Fully spec'd, fully ported, 15-inch laptop, 15.6. And $13.49 is what this was selling for on Samsung's website to pre-order. And today, as I film, which is just before the launch date, they're throwing in a gaming monitor for free, a 32-inch. So I'm sure there's going to be promos once they launch, and I don't want to get too focused on the pricing, but that feels like incredibly good value. What other Windows laptop are you going to buy at 16 gig, i7? Forget the fact that it's a 12th gen chip, even 11th gen. There's not a whole lot of stuff out there that's going to match this price, match this performance, or at least spec. We don't know about the performance yet. And it looks darn good. Check it out. Let's see if I can get the color on there for you. There you go. It's a nice graphite. I mean, it looks nice. Grill at the bottom, so that's where the heat's going to come out from. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And as you can see, yes, it is a fingerprint magnet, okay? Look at those bad boys. So, you know, you can't win them all. So let's talk about it. I have not had a lot of time to play with this, but I have had a little. And I set it up last night and tried to do a little bit of work on it so that I could get a feel for just speed, how it kind of moves around, all the good stuff that you would expect. So let's talk about the feel first. It definitely feels thin, it definitely feels light. It doesn't feel as flexible as the LG Gram. I don't know why, because it is very thin. I mean, again, look at this screen. Just, let me see if I can get that for you. Look, it's like a razor blade thin. It's gonna bend, it's gonna flex, so you gotta be careful. You probably don't wanna be doing the whole one corner thing, maybe in the middle is a little bit safer. But it definitely feels good in the hand. The problem when you get the super lightweight laptops is they're so light. When I'm working on the couch, it's almost like there's nothing there and it just floats around. You need a little bit of heft to hold it in place. So take your choices, people. You can have lightweight and it's gonna slide and slip around. You can have a heavy bad boy and it's gonna stay in place, but you're gonna be moving a brick and build some muscle along the way. It's your choice what you want, but if you want lightweight, this so far looks pretty good. Keyboard is a regular good old keyboard, no weird spacing, okay? It's a big gripe of mine when they do this weird stuff with the number keys and the page up and the page down. Everything fits where it's supposed to. My issue with the keyboard here is I don't like keyboards that aren't centered. You might need the numeric keypad and I get it. It's super handy to have, but it throws my muscle memory off. I like to sit in the middle of the laptop. My hands rest naturally in the middle, and so it's not in the middle. Look, the trackpad's off center, the keyboard's off center. It's centered to itself, but it's slightly off the middle of the screen. And I don't know if I can live with that. Maybe you can, and if you can, all power to you. The keys feel great. It feels just like a Galaxy Book Pro first gen. Similar key travel, similar press. Not my favorite keyboard, but it's definitely nice. It's definitely shallow travel. The backlighting works really well. These are black keys, as you just saw. They light up super nice at night. Again, I was working late for a few hours last night and I goofed around on this. So let's move on to the trackpad. Hugely impressed. Very fluid, very smooth. Didn't have a lot of mistakes. Sometimes I struggle on Windows trackpads. It definitely feels nice, but it is a real trackpad with a real click. No haptics. So you are stuck with, you know, old tech if you want to call it that. But it works and it works really well. I like the size of it. I like oversized trackpads. They've done a lot of things right on this. Just lose the numeric keypad and move the keyboard to the middle, please. That takes me to the dimensions. As you probably know, I am not the biggest fan of 16:9 screens, particularly in tablets and laptops. I think this would be my perfect Windows device if it was a 1610. And what I mean by that is for every 16 inches across, it's 9 inches tall instead of 10 inches tall. Surface laptops, actually for every 3 inches across, it's 2 inches tall. So they're even taller and squarer. Why does this matter? When you are using this for productivity, when you're using it for anything other than media consumption, watching videos, that kind of stuff, it really helps to have the height. Web pages scroll better up and down, everything's built for a little bit of height. And I'm so used to taller screens, it kind of looks weird. When I'm looking at it, it looks really wide, like I'm at the movies looking at a letterbox type picture or something like that. Again, you might like it, you might be okay with it. I just wrestle with it. And I think it's a big omission from Samsung when a lot of manufacturers have really switched to 1610 or 3.2. I guarantee this, within a year or two, there will not be a mainstream laptop that is 16:9. Everybody's moved away because everybody's realized it's not an optimal screen ratio for getting stuff done. It's only optimal for the guys who make the panels because they can churn out more panels and keep the cost down. And that's really where it came from, because nobody was really ever buying laptops to watch movies all day. I get it on TVs, I don't get it on laptops, but that's the ratio. So let's talk about the screen itself. Samsung AMOLED displays, they are the best at making displays. It is what it is. I will arm wrestle with you all day over it. Okay, it looks magnificent. Is it as glorious as the Galaxy Tab Ultra? Interestingly, I don't know if it is. It's spectacular. It's by far and away a fabulous looking display, and it defaults in dark mode because why wouldn't you? You want to show off the blacks. It might be a little hard for you to see it here. This thing looks amazing. Again, $1,349. You find me an i7, 12th gen, even $1,500 with an AMOLED display. Dell's charging $300 something to upgrade their displays to AMOLED. Now, yes, it is only high def. Okay, I get that. It's not a 4K screen, but do you really need one to get some work done? I don't know that you do, and I don't think most other people think so either. Apple don't run 4K displays, Surface don't run 4K displays, almost nobody's running 4K displays anymore because it doesn't work on a small screen. That's why you're getting these 3.5K options like the Dell XPS or the 3K 2K like HP. I think there's a sweet spot here where a little bit more than high def is necessary, but not quite 4K. It looks glorious. You will not be disappointed. On the subject of Samsung, let's talk about that because this is really for that. So everybody gives Apple, high praise for how slick all the things play nicely. And they're right. They are really nice. They're very efficient. You can get iMessage here, there, and everywhere. You can seamlessly transfer things between the both. But Android and Windows are definitely a little bit underrated. The Your Phone app. Okay, so look, literally the day I recorded this review, Microsoft decided to rename the Your Phone app to Phone Link. I didn't want to be the guy that put a video up online that was wrong the day he filmed it and obviously the day he uploaded it. So this is my correction. Please forgive me. I'm doing my best here, folks. Okay, if you subscribe to the channel and help me get bigger, I'll have more editors and more folks to help me so I don't do things like that. All right, back to the video. On Windows, if you're using an Android phone, it's awesome. I literally can run Android apps from the Your Phone app. I can click on a picture on my Galaxy phone and I can drag it over to the desktop on any Windows machine, and it's right there. I think it's advanced beyond some of the things that Apple's doing in the Apple ecosystem, but Samsung have put it on steroids. So what they have done is they have added an ungodly amount of Samsung software on this machine to the point where you might think this is serious bloatware. And I'm not going to argue with you. It could feel that way. But if you're a Samsung user, I don't know you're going to feel that way after using it for a little while. Samsung Notes is on here. So now you've got full cloud syncing. When you set it up, it wants you to sign into your Samsung account. The second you do, it's going to sync from your phone to the device seamlessly in the background, just like Apple does through Apple servers. And so you're going to get messages and things floating on here a lot better than if you use Android messages through the Your Phone thing, because it works most of the time, but not all of the time. On this, and I haven't tested it yet, but in theory, this is supposed to work better because it's running through Samsung's Cloud Sync. You've also got a ton of other stuff. So let me just read some of these for you, because there's so many of them, I can't even remember them all. My Samsung account, fair enough. Samsung Bluetooth Sync, okay. Device Care, File Tracker, Samsung Flow, Samsung Gallery, Notes, Samsung Recovery, Samsung Security, Settings. They've got their own settings on top of Windows settings. Might be a little redundant, maybe they could have just squeezed them into the Windows control panel, but whatever. Samsung Studio Plus, that's for editing video. So they've included their own video editor. Again, I haven't used it to any extent, so I don't want to comment on the quality of the editor. I did open it up and goof around in it. It seems great for a basic editor, and I think that's an omission on Microsoft's part. Microsoft, you need to do better. If you want to compete against Apple, Windows needs a competent iMovie alternative. It has for the last decade. Figure it out. You've got some basic stuff going on and you need to do better. And it's the same with Photos. I don't think Windows Photos is as slick and as seamless as Apple Photos. Samsung's obviously trying to do something with their gallery. You've got Samsung Update, you got Samsung Screen Recorder, you got Samsung Second Screen. The second screen is really cool. Take a look at this footage from Samsung's website when they launched the actual product. The second screening looks way better to me than what Apple showed off with the iPad and the Mac, although both obviously do different things slightly. You got Samsung SmartThings on here, and I've actually already deleted a couple of extras as well. There was Samsung Free TV or something, and I don't know, some Care Plus thing. So there's a whole lot of apps. Even if you are embedded in the Samsung ecosystem, that still feels like a lot of apps. And I'm not sure you're going to use everything, but look, they're trying. They're the only folks out there who are trying to build a complete ecosystem to rival Apple. And it's good for us. It's good for us as consumers. It's good for us because it gives us choices and it keeps Apple honest and hopefully keeps them on their toes because they've done a really good job. It's underrated. I think their marketing isn't strong enough and they haven't got enough influencers out there talking about what you can do in the world of Samsung. But if you go all in, you can do some really cool stuff. And again, with overlaying some footage here as I'm talking, so you can see some of the things you can do. But go check out Samsung's YouTube channel and watch some of these things. It's super impressive. I didn't realize that they had done what they had done so that we could do what we can now do between a Samsung phone, a Samsung tablet, and a Samsung laptop. So if Android and Windows are your world, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Now then, let's talk about what you are going to be disappointed about. This is an i7 chip. It's not a H series. It's not the highest performance, okay? It is an ultra thin laptop. I was wondering how much heat there would be. Now, it's not so hot you're going to fry an egg on it, peeps, okay? You could try, but I probably wouldn't because it's going to seep through the holes and you're going to have all kinds of problems. And I don't want you thinking that Mikey told you to do it because I didn't. When I was setting it up, there was definitely some heat coming off the bottom. And obviously it's dissipating through the bottom because that's where the grills are. It's great on a desk, not so great when it's on your legs. When I was working last night, it did cool down. I was just using a browser, doing simple stuff. I wouldn't say it was cool. It was warm to touch, but I wouldn't say it was hot either. So it looks at first glance like the 12th gen chips seem okay. And then that leads me on to the other thing, which is battery life. Again, I haven't had this in the studio for long enough. I wanted to get the review out because they're launching this weekend. So far, I can tell you, typically on a good Windows machine, I look for about a 10% drop every hour. That to me is really about as good as you're getting on a Windows machine. 9 or 10 hours or so in normal everyday kind of scenarios with the screen brightness not turned all the way down. This doesn't feel like it's burning 10% an hour. From what I saw last night, I think it's burning for me and my usage about 7% an hour. So maybe 7, maybe 8, which tells me I might squeeze about 11 or 12 hours out of this, possibly 13. Again, it's early days. Windows does all of its magic in the first few days, so it's going to be using a little bit more system performance in the background. I don't think this is a 20-hour laptop, but hey, you might get 13, 14 hours, so it definitely looks strong. So what have we got here? I'm not talking performance because there's not really a whole lot I can tell you. It's fast, it's zippy, it's snippy. You're not buying this to edit 4K video on it. If you are, you probably can. But for an all-around machine, this is definitely a powerhouse considering the price point and considering the size of it. And to summarize, that's really where we are. For everything other than the highest, prosumer level video type editing, if you're just doing photo work, Lightroom, that kind of stuff, this feels like it would churn through it all day long. If you're doing everyday work, business, Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, the usual stuff, web browsing, goofing off, this is gonna fly. And they make an i5 with 8 gig and 512. That's their base model. I'm glad to see that we're switching to 512 as the base of storage. It's about time 256 left the house, got on the train, and was never seen again because it's not acceptable. Great screen, great keyboard, great port selection, pretty decent performance, pretty decent battery life. Look, what do you want, okay? What do you want for low teens in the world of Windows? This is about as good as you're gonna get. Would I buy this over a Surface laptop? I prefer the screen ratio of the Surface laptop, and honestly, I hate to say this because I can't believe I'm saying it, I think I prefer the slightly heavier weight because it feels like there's nothing on my lap when I'm working on this. And it's the same problem I had with the LG Gram. But if it's in my backpack, I want this bad boy every day. So should you buy it? If you're looking for a Windows machine, you're in Samsung's ecosystem, you need something that can perform, and you're not too worried about the highest levels of 4K editing and that kind of stuff, go check it out. This could be the machine for you. Let me know what you think. Ask me some questions in the comments below. And hey, listen, don't leave me just yet. Hit the subscribe button, help me get the channel moving forward. You can make it happen because you're the only one that can. So until next time, let's go out there and be amazing.